Celeste stood in the parking garage and watched her husband kiss another woman through a car window. Not just any woman. Victoria Hayes. Her immigration lawyer. The woman she'd paid $7,500 to keep her from being deported. Marcus's hand was in Victoria's hair. Victoria's hand was on his chest. They weren't just kissing. They were devouring each other like people who'd been doing this for months. Celeste's phone was still warm in her hand from Simone's call 10 minutes ago. Mom, where's Dad? His supervisor is looking for him. Now she knew where Dad was. She backed away. Didn't run. Didn't scream. Just walked to the stairwell and took the stairs down 5 flights because she couldn't trust herself in an elevator, couldn't trust what she'd do in an enclosed space with her own thoughts. The bus ride home took 47 minutes. She counted every single one. Listen. Before I tell you the rest of Celeste's story, I need you to understand something. This isn't entertainment. This is what happens when you're invisible in a country that only sees you long enough to decide you don't belong. Drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. Subscribe to this channel. Stay until the end. Because what happened to Celeste could happen to anyone who's ever felt powerless. And maybe it already has. 6 months before that parking garage, Celeste thought she was safe. She came home from her overnight shift at the nursing home on a Tuesday morning and found the envelope in the mailbox. Government seal. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Her hands started shaking before she even opened it. Notice to appear. Deportation proceedings. 30 days. She sat on the front steps and read it 3 times. 18 years in America. Wiped floors. Bathed elderly people. Paid taxes with a fake social security number. Raised an American daughter. And now they wanted her gone. Marcus found her there an hour later. When he said, 30 days to respond. What do we do? Find a lawyer. A good one. How much does that cost? Celeste looked at him. Really looked at him. 14 years married, and she could see he was already doing the math, already calculating whether she was worth the money. I don't know, she said. Thousands. We don't have thousands, Celeste. Then I guess I'm going back to Haiti. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. She stood up. Her knees hurt. 38 years old and her body felt ancient. Unless you want to lose your daughter's mother, we need to find the money. That landed. Marcus went quiet. He always went quiet when she mentioned Simone. They found 3 lawyers willing to talk. The first 2 quoted $8,000 and $12,000. The third was Victoria Hayes. Victoria's office was downtown 20th floor. Celeste and Marcus took the train in on Saturday, both exhausted from working 6 days straight. The receptionist looked them up and down. Appointment 2 o'clock. Laurent. They waited. Marcus checked his phone every 30 seconds. Celeste kept her hands folded, trying not to think about the $500 consultation fee they'd borrowed from Marcus's brother. When Victoria came out, the first thing Celeste noticed was how she looked at Marcus. Held his hand too long during the introduction. Smiled like they were at a party. Come in. Victoria sat behind her desk. Gestured for them to sit. Tell me everything. Celeste explained. Visitor visa in 2007. Overstayed. Got work. Met Marcus. Married. Had Simone. Tried to adjust status in 2015, got denied. Victoria listened. Barely looked at Celeste. Kept her eyes on Marcus. 14 years married, Victoria said. Yes, Marcus answered. Happy marriage. Celeste felt something cold move through her. What does that have to do with deportation? Everything. Victoria finally looked at her. The judge will question whether your marriage is real or for papers. I need to know the truth. It's real. When's the last time you went on a date, just the 2 of you? Silence. When's the last time you had sex? Excuse me. Celeste's voice came out sharp. The judge will ask. They ask everything. When did you last have intercourse with your husband? Mrs. Laurent. Marcus shifted in his chair. We've been busy. Working a lot. How busy? Once a week, once a month. We don't really. Marcus stopped. We have a daughter, Celeste said. We have a life. We're married. I believe you. The judge won't. Victoria leaned back. I've handled 300 deportation cases. 87% success rate. I know what wins and what loses. You want to win? Yes. Then you do exactly what I say. Cost is $15,000. Half up front. Celeste's stomach dropped. We can't. Most people can't. There are loans. High interest but available. You have a choice. Pay $15,000 and fight, or get on a plane in 30 days and never see your daughter again. The room went silent. Marcus spoke first. We'll find the money. Victoria smiled at him. Good. Take this folder. Look at the loan options. Call me by Friday. She handed the folder to Marcus. Their fingers touched. Celeste watched it happen. On the train home, Marcus opened the folder. We have to do this, he said. I know. I'll work overtime. Double shifts. Me too. We can pay it back. 2 years, maybe 3. Celeste looked out the window at the city passing by. What if we lose? We won't. Victoria said 87% win. That means 13% lose. We're not in that 13. How do you know? He looked at her. Because I won't let them take you. She wanted to believe him. But something in his voice felt hollow. They took out the loan. 28% interest. Celeste signed the papers and tried not to think about what 28% meant over 5 years. Victoria got her retainer on Monday. $7,500. She took the check and barely looked at it. Now we start fighting, Victoria said. Fighting meant Celeste worked 70 hours a week. 6 nights, sometimes 7. Came home when Marcus was leaving. Left when he was coming back. They became ghosts sharing an apartment. Simone started making her own dinners. Started asking questions. Mom, are you and Dad okay? We're fine, baby. Just working. You're never home. I know. I'm sorry. It's temporary. But Simone's face said she didn't believe it. 3 weeks into the case, Victoria came to their apartment for the first time. She said she needed to see their life build the narrative for court. She walked through their small space, looked at photos, asked questions. How often do you cook together? Not often, Celeste admitted. Do you have joint bank accounts? Yes. Do you file taxes together? Yes. Victoria made notes. Turned to Marcus. Show me your wedding photos. Marcus pulled out the album. Victoria sat next to him on the couch, too close, looking through the pictures while Celeste stood in the kitchen watching. You look happy here, Victoria said. We were, Marcus said. Were. Past tense. Celeste caught it. Victoria stayed for 2 hours. Asked more questions. Most of them directed at Marcus. When she left, she touched his arm. Walk me down shore. Celeste watched from the window. They talked in the parking lot for 15 minutes. Victoria laughed. Touched his arm again. Marcus smiled. When he came back up, Celeste was washing dishes. She's thorough, he said. She's interested in you. What, you heard me. She's building the case, Celeste. Don't be paranoid. I'm not paranoid. I'm observant. You're exhausted. You're working too much. I'm working too much to save my life so I can stay with you. Remember? Marcus grabbed his keys. I have to go. Night shift. He left without kissing her. First time in 14 years. Victoria came back the next week. And the week after. Always found reasons why Marcus needed to be there. Celeste started working nights those evenings, leaving them alone. One morning she came home and found a coffee cup in the sink. Red lipstick on the rim. Victoria's shade. Celeste washed it. Said nothing. But she started noticing other things. Marcus smiling at his phone. Marcus wearing cologne to meetings with Victoria. Marcus volunteering to drive Victoria places. She needs a ride to the courthouse, he said one morning. She has a car. It's in the shop. She can take an Uber. Celeste, she's helping you. The least I can do is give her a ride. He left before she could respond. 2 months into the case, Marcus got a second job. Night security downtown. We need the money, he said. For the payments. It made sense. They were drowning in debt. But it also meant Marcus was gone from 10 at night until 6 in the morning. Same hours. Celeste worked different location. They stopped seeing each other entirely. Became text messages. Became signatures on checks. Became strangers. Simone noticed. When's the last time you and Dad ate together? Celeste couldn't remember. We're both working, baby. You didn't used to be like this. Like what? Gone. Both of you. It's like you don't even live here anymore. Celeste pulled her daughter into a hug. I'm sorry. This is temporary. Once the case is over, that's what you keep saying. But it's been 2 months and it's getting worse. Simone pulled away and went to her room. Closed the door. Celeste stood in the hallway and felt like the worst mother alive. The morning of the first court hearing, Celeste barely slept. She put on her only professional outfit, the one from Burlington she'd bought 5 years ago for a wedding. Marcus met her at the courthouse. He was wearing cologne. She smelled it when he hugged her. "You okay?" he asked. "No." Victoria appeared in a suit that probably cost more than their rent. She looked at Marcus first. "You ready as we'll be," he said. Inside the courtroom everything felt cold. The ICE attorney was a white man in his 50s who looked at Celeste like she was a problem to be solved. The judge was worse. Bored. Tired. Already decided. Victoria was brilliant. Objected. Maneuvered. Fought. But when the ICE attorney asked why Marcus had missed the previous 3 hearings, the room went quiet. "Your Honor, Mr. Laurent works 2 jobs to support his family," Victoria said. "His absence was economic necessity, not abandonment." Marcus testified. Said all the right things. How much he loved Celeste. How Simone needed her mother. How their marriage was real. But his voice sounded rehearsed. Celeste heard it. The judge heard it. "I'll issue my decision in 30 days," the judge said. Not a good sign. Victoria had said quick rulings usually meant wins. Delayed rulings meant they were on the fence. After the hearing, Victoria suggested coffee. They went to a CAF near the courthouse. "I think we did well," Victoria said. The judge seemed angry, Celeste said. "That's just his demeanor. Don't worry." Victoria's phone rang. She stepped outside. Marcus and Celeste sat in silence. "You barely looked at me in there," Celeste said. "I was nervous." "You looked at her." "Who?" Victoria. "She's our lawyer, Celeste." "She's my lawyer. Not yours." Victoria came back. "Emergency with another case." "Marcus, can I borrow your car? Mine's acting up." Sure. I'll bring it back tonight." She left with his keys. Celeste rode the bus home alone. 3 days later, Simone called at 11:15 while Celeste was at work. "Mom, where's Dad working security?" "Why, his supervisor just called looking for him." "He's not there." Everything stopped. "What, he called in sick tonight?" "But he told us he was working." Celeste called Marcus. Voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. She left work early. Took an Uber to his security job. The supervisor confirmed it. Marcus called in sick around 8. Food poisoning. Celeste stood in that lobby and felt the ground disappear. She knew. Before she even got in the next Uber. Before she gave the driver Victoria's office address. Before she took the elevator up to the parking garage. She knew. 5th floor. 3rd row. Marcus's car with the interior light on. She walked closer. Each step felt like drowning. Through the window she saw them. Marcus and Victoria. Kissing. His hand in her hair. Her hand on his chest. Celeste didn't scream. Didn't move. Just stood there watching her entire life disintegrate. Then she backed away. Took the stairs down. Got on the bus. Went home. She sat in the dark apartment and waited. Marcus came home at 2:30. "Sorry, work ran late." Celeste didn't turn on the lights. "No, it didn't." "What, you called in sick?" "I know, because I went there looking for you." Silence. "I saw you," Celeste said. "With her. In your car." Marcus went white. "Celeste, how long?" "It's not how long have you been sleeping with my lawyer?" He couldn't answer. Couldn't even look at her. Celeste stood up. Turned on the light. Looked at him directly. "How long, Marcus?" 3 months. The number hit her like a fist. 3 months. While she was working 70 hours a week. While she was fighting to stay in this country. While she was paying Victoria to save her. "Get out," Celeste said. "Celeste, let me explain. Get out." He left. Grabbed his jacket and left. Celeste sat back down in the dark and tried to remember how to breathe. Simone's bedroom door opened at 3 in the morning. Mom, Celeste was still sitting in the dark. Still trying to remember how breathing worked. "Go back to bed, baby. I heard Dad leave. I heard you yelling. We had a fight." "It's fine." "It's not fine. You're crying." Celeste touched her face. She was crying. She hadn't even noticed. Simone sat down next to her. 16 years old and already too grown up for her age. "What did he do?" "Nothing you need to worry about." "Mom, I'm not a kid anymore." "What did he do?" Celeste looked at her daughter. Saw Marcus's eyes. Saw her own stubborn chin. Saw a girl who deserved the truth. "He's been seeing someone else." Simone went quiet. Then who? It doesn't matter. It's her, isn't it? The lawyer. Celeste's chest tightened. How did you? I'm not blind, Mom. I've seen how she looks at him. How he looks at her. Simone's voice cracked. Is she going to make you lose your case? That question. That exact question. The one Celeste had been too afraid to ask herself. I don't know. You should fire her. I can't. The hearing decision comes in 3 weeks. If I fire her now, I lose everything. You already lost Dad. The words hit like glass breaking. Sharp. True. Unbearable. Celeste pulled Simone close. I'm not losing you. Whatever happens, I'm not losing you. They sat there until the sun came up. Morning came whether Celeste was ready or not. She had a shift at 7. Called in sick for the first time in 2 years. Her supervisor wasn't sympathetic. Celeste, we're short-staffed. You can't just call out. I have a family emergency. Everyone has emergencies. You're scheduled. You need to come in. I can't. Then don't bother coming in tomorrow either. The line went dead. Celeste stared at her phone. Just lost her husband. Now losing her job. The walls were closing in. Marcus called at 8. She didn't answer. He called again at 9. Again at 10. Texted, please let me explain. She blocked his number. Victoria called at noon. Celeste almost didn't answer. But Victoria was still her lawyer. Still the person standing between her and a deportation flight. Hello. Celeste. We need to talk. About what? About Marcus. About what you saw. So Marcus had already run to her. Already told her. Celeste knew. There's nothing to talk about, Celeste said. I think there is. Can I come over? Number. Celeste, I understand you're upset. You don't understand anything. I'm still your lawyer. Your case doesn't change because you've been sleeping with my husband for 3 months while I paid you to save my life. Silence on the other end. Celeste, what happened between Marcus and me is complicated. It's not complicated. It's betrayal. Your case is what matters right now. The judge's decision comes in 3 weeks. We need to stay focused. How can I trust you? Because I'm good at my job. Because I win cases. Because losing your case makes me look bad and I don't lose. Victoria's voice turned cold. Professional. I'm coming over tonight. 7 o'clock. We need to prep for the decision. She hung up before Celeste could refuse. Celeste sat on the couch and tried to think. Tried to plan. Tried to figure out how to survive this. Her phone rang again. Unknown number. Hello, is this Celeste Laurent? Yes. Who's this? My name is Marie Toussaint. I got your number from a friend. She said you're working with Victoria Hayes. Celeste's heart started pounding. I am. Don't. What? Fire her. Right now. Before she destroys you like she destroyed me. I don't understand. Victoria Hayes represented me 2 years ago. Immigration case just like yours. She slept with my husband during the case. When I found out and confronted her, she sabotaged everything. I got deported 6 months later. The room started spinning. Are you still there? Marie asked. Yes. She has a pattern. Vulnerable immigrant women. Married. She gets close to the husbands. Uses the cases as access. And if the wives push back, the cases fall apart. How'd I know you're telling the truth? Check the court records. Marie Toussaint. Case number N97453821. She barely fought for me after I confronted her about my husband. Missed filings. Weak arguments. It was like she wanted me to lose. Celeste wrote down the case number with shaking hands. Why are you telling me this? Because I couldn't warn the others. But I can warn you. Fire her. Find someone else. You still have time. The decision comes in 3 weeks. Then you have 3 weeks to find a new lawyer. Don't end up like me, Celeste. Don't let her take everything. Marie hung up. Celeste sat there holding her phone. Her mind was racing. Could she trust a stranger? Could she trust Marie's story? But deep down she already knew it was true. She'd seen how Victoria looked at Marcus. How she manufactured reasons to be alone with him. How she'd smiled when Celeste left for work. Simone came out of her room. Mom, you okay? Number. What happened? I think my lawyer has done this before. Slept with clients' husbands. Sabotaged their cases. So fire her. It's not that simple. Why not? Because finding a new lawyer takes time. Because I've already paid her $7,500. Because the decision is coming, and if I switch lawyers now everything could fall apart anyway. So what are you going to do? Celeste looked at her daughter. I don't know yet. Victoria showed up at 7 exactly. Knocked 3 times. Celeste opened the door but didn't invite her in. We can talk here, Celeste said. Victoria looked past her into the apartment. Where's Marcus? Not here. Is he coming? Number. Victoria's expression shifted. Less friendly. More calculating. We need to discuss what happens when the decision comes down. There are 3 possible outcomes. I know what the outcomes are. Then you know we need to be prepared for all of them. If the judge rules in your favor, if you didn't sabotage it. Victoria went still. Excuse me, I talked to Marie Toussaint today. Something flickered across Victoria's face. Recognition. Then denial. I don't know who that is. Yes, you do. You represented her 2 years ago. Immigration case. You slept with her husband. She confronted you. Then you threw her case. That's not. She got deported. 6 months after you stopped fighting for her. Victoria's jaw tightened. Marie Toussaint had a weak case. Her marriage was fraudulent. I did everything I could. You did everything you could to steal her husband. This is ridiculous. Is it because from where I'm standing you have a pattern? Vulnerable women. Married. You seduce their husbands during their cases. And when they find out, their cases mysteriously fall apart. Victoria's face hardened. Are you accusing me of malpractice? I'm stating facts. Facts. You have one disgruntled former client making accusations. That's not facts. That's desperation. How many others are there? How many women did you do this to? I've represented hundreds of clients. Some of them lose. That's the nature of immigration law. It doesn't mean I sabotaged them. But you did sleep with their husbands. Victoria didn't answer. Get out, Celeste said. You can't fire me 3 weeks before a decision. Watch me. You'll lose everything. Every lawyer in the city will tell you the same thing. Switching counsel this late is suicide. Maybe. But at least I'll lose on my own terms. Not because my lawyer was too busy sleeping with my husband to do her job. Victoria stepped closer. You want to know the truth, Celeste? Your marriage was dead long before I came into the picture. Marcus told me. He said you two were strangers. That you hadn't touched each other in months. That he stayed for Simone and for appearances. Get out. I didn't break up your marriage. Your marriage broke itself. I just gave Marcus what you couldn't. Celeste slapped her. The sound cracked through the hallway. Victoria's head snapped to the side. When she looked back, her eyes were full of rage. You just assaulted me. Prove it. I have witnesses. Your neighbors probably heard that. Go ahead. Call the cops. Let's see what happens when I tell them my immigration lawyer has been sleeping with my husband and threatening my case. They stared at each other. 2 women who'd been pretending to be allies. Now enemies. Victoria touched her cheek. You're making a mistake. The mistake was trusting you. The decision comes down in 3 weeks. You think you can find a new lawyer and get them up to speed in that time? I'll figure it out. You'll lose. And when you lose, when they put you on that plane back to Haiti, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that you chose your pride over your daughter. That hit. Victoria knew it hit. I'm done with you, Celeste said. Send me the paperwork to terminate your representation. I want it by tomorrow. You'll regret this. I already regret ever meeting you. Victoria left. Celeste closed the door and leaned against it, heart pounding. Simone was standing in the hallway. You hit her. I know. Good. Celeste almost laughed. Almost. But there was nothing funny about what she'd just done. She'd fired her lawyer 3 weeks before a decision. She was drowning in debt. Her husband was gone. Her job was gone. Everything was falling apart. Marcus showed up at 9. Knocked softly. Celeste opened the door but blocked the entrance. I need to talk to you, he said. There's nothing to say. Victoria called me. Said you fired her. Said you hit her. Both true. Celeste, you can't fire her right now. The decision is coming whether she's my lawyer or not. At least this way I know she's not actively sabotaging me. She wouldn't do that. How would you know? You've been too busy sleeping with her to notice what kind of person she is. Marcus flinched. I made a mistake. I know that. But firing her isn't going to fix anything. Nothing is going to fix anything, Marcus. Our marriage is over. My case is probably over. Everything is over. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. You destroyed everything for what? For her, for someone who uses vulnerable people to get what she wants. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Tell me. I want to hear how you justify this. Marcus looked down. You were never here. We never talked. We never what had sex? Is that what this is about? You were lonely, so you decided to screw my lawyer. Don't reduce it to that. That's exactly what it is. You were bored. You were horny. And Victoria was convenient. And you didn't care that it could cost me everything. I did care. No, you didn't. If you cared, you would have stopped. You would have thought about Simone. About what happens to her if I get deported. But you didn't think about any of that. You just thought about yourself. I love you, Celeste. No, you don't. You love the idea of me. The immigrant wife who works herself to death. Who doesn't complain. Who doesn't demand anything. But the second I needed you to actually sacrifice something for me, you couldn't do it. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I've worked 70 hours a week for 3 months to pay for this case. To stay in this country. To stay with you. And you spent that time sleeping with the woman I was paying to save me. And you want to talk to me about fair? Marcus had no answer. Leave, Celeste said. This is my apartment too. Then I'll leave. Simone, pack a bag. Mom, Simone called from her room. Pack a bag, baby. We're going to Aunt Rachel's. Celeste grabbed her purse. Grabbed her phone. Walked past Marcus without looking at him. At the door she turned back. You get one choice, Marcus. Her or your daughter. Because if you stay with Victoria, you don't get to see Simone. You don't get to pretend you're a good father while you're with the woman who might get her mother deported. Choose. She left before he could answer. Rachel lived in Mattapan, 20 minutes away. She opened the door and took one look at Celeste's face. What happened? Everything. Rachel pulled them inside. Made tea. Listened while Celeste explained. The affair. The lawyer. The slap. The firing. You need a new lawyer, Rachel said. I know. I don't know how to find one in 3 weeks. I'll make calls. I know people. We'll figure this out. I don't have any money left. I already paid Victoria $7,500. We'll find someone who'll work pro bono. Or take payments. There are immigration lawyers who care about more than money. Celeste wanted to believe her. But she'd run out of belief somewhere between the parking garage and right now. Her phone buzzed. Text from a number she didn't recognize. This is Marcus. Calling from work phone since you blocked me. I choose Simone. I choose you. I ended things with Victoria. Please come home. Celeste showed the text to Rachel. What are you going to do? Rachel asked. I don't know if I believe him. Do you want to? That was the question. Did she want to believe Marcus could change, that he could choose them, or was it already too late? Celeste looked at Simone asleep on Rachel's couch. Looked at her daughter, who deserved a mother who stayed. Who fought. Who didn't give up. She texted back, prove it. Marcus showed up at Rachel's apartment the next morning with 3 garbage bags of his clothes and a black eye. Rachel opened the door and stared. What happened to your face? Victoria's husband. Celeste came to the door. Looked at Marcus. At the bags. At the bruise blooming across his left eye socket. Her husband found out, Marcus said. Showed up at my work last night. Hit me in the parking lot in front of everyone. She's married. Celeste's voice was flat. Yeah. You didn't think to mention that I didn't know until last night. She never wore a ring. Never talked about him. Simone appeared behind Celeste. Dad, hey baby. Your face. I'm okay. Can I come in? Rachel looked at Celeste. Celeste looked at Simone. Simone looked at her father standing there with his whole life in garbage bags. Let him in, Simone said. They sat in Rachel's small living room. Marcus on one chair. Celeste and Simone on the couch. Rachel in the kitchen pretending not to listen. I ended it, Marcus said. Called her after you left. Told her it was over. She said I was making a mistake. I said the mistake was ever touching her. And her husband just happened to show up at your job, she told him. Out of spite, I think. He came at me screaming. Said Victoria's done this before. That she's a serial cheater. That she gets off on wrecking marriages. Celeste felt something cold settle in her chest. How many others? He said at least 4 that he knows about. All clients' husbands. All during cases. And he stays with her, they have kids. 3 of them. He said he can't afford to leave. So he just lets her destroy people. Marcus shook his head. He punches the men instead. Says it's the only thing that makes him feel like he has any power. Did you hit him back? Number. I let him. I deserved it. Silence stretched between them. Simone broke it. Are you moving back home? Marcus looked at Celeste. That's up to your mom. We don't have a home, Celeste said. I lost my job. We're 3 weeks from a deportation decision. And I just fired the lawyer we're in debt for. I'll fix it. How? I don't know yet. But I will. That's not good enough, Marcus. Then tell me what is. Tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. I need you to go back in time and not sleep with my lawyer. Can you do that? He flinched. Celeste stood up. I need air. She walked out onto Rachel's small balcony. Closed the door behind her. Breathed the cold morning air until her lungs hurt. Rachel came out a few minutes later. You okay? Number. You want him gone? I don't know what I want. That's okay. You don't have to decide right now. The decision comes in 3 weeks, Rachel. I have to decide everything right now. Then decide the important thing first. The lawyer. Everything else can wait. Rachel was right. The lawyer was the only thing that mattered. You said you'd make calls. I did. Last night. I found someone who might help. Who? David Chen. Immigration attorney in Chinatown. He does a lot of pro bono work. Takes cases other lawyers won't touch. Why would he take mine? Because I told him what Victoria did. And he hates her. That got Celeste's attention. Why? Victoria poached 3 of his clients 2 years ago. Undercut his fees. Promised better results. All 3 got deported within a year. So this is revenge, this is justice. You want to meet him or not? When? Today. 2 o'clock. Celeste nodded. Went back inside. Marcus was still there, bags still on the floor. I have a lawyer meeting at 2, she told him. You can stay here until then. After that I don't know. Can I take Simone to lunch? Celeste looked at her daughter. Simone nodded. Okay. But she's back by 1:30. Marcus stood. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just don't mess this up worse than it already is. David Chen's office was above a dumpling restaurant. The whole building smelled like ginger and pork. Rachel went with Celeste up the narrow stairs to the 3rd floor. The waiting room had 4 plastic chairs and a dying plant. The receptionist was a woman in her 60s who looked at Celeste with something like recognition. You're the one Victoria Hayes screwed over. Celeste blinked. Word travels fast. In the immigrant community always. The woman smiled. David will see you now. David Chen was younger than Celeste expected. Mid-40s, wire-rimmed glasses, shirt sleeves rolled up. His office was cramped but organized. Files stacked neatly. A single window looking out onto the street. Sit, he said. Tell me everything. Celeste told him. The deportation notice. Victoria. The affair. Marie Toussaint. The firing. The decision in 3 weeks. David listened without interrupting. When she finished, he leaned back in his chair. Victoria Hayes is a cancer on this profession. I've been trying to get her disbarred for 3 years. Why hasn't it worked? She's careful. Covers her tracks. The clients she sabotages are usually too scared or too poor to file complaints. And the ones who do she settles with. Makes them sign NDAs. Marie didn't sign an NDA. Marie went back to Haiti. Can't file a complaint from another country. So she just keeps doing this until someone stops her. Which is where you come in. How you file a formal complaint with the Board of Bar Overseers. Document everything. The affair. The pattern. The other victims. And you let me take over your case. Can you win it? I don't know. Victoria's already done the prep work. The question is whether she sabotaged it or not. How do we find out? I request all her files. Review everything she filed on your behalf. If she buried anything or missed deadlines intentionally, it'll show. And if she did, then we have grounds to request a new hearing. But that takes time we don't have. So we might lose anyway. We might. But if we do, at least we'll go down fighting. And we'll take Victoria with us. Celeste looked at Rachel. Rachel nodded. What do I need to do? Sign a new retainer. Give me access to everything Victoria had. And trust me. How much for the complaint and case review? Nothing. If we go to a new hearing, we'll talk payment. But right now this is personal. Why? Because Victoria Hayes destroys people for sport. And I'm tired of watching her get away with it. Celeste signed the papers. Gave David everything. Every email from Victoria. Every document. Every receipt. When they left, Rachel hugged her. You did the right thing. I hope so. They got back to Rachel's at 4. Marcus and Simone were sitting on the couch watching TV. How'd it go? Marcus asked. I have a new lawyer. That's good. Right, I don't know yet. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Mrs. Laurent, this is Judge Morrison's clerk. I'm calling about your immigration case. Celeste's heart stopped. Yes, the judge has issued his decision early. You need to come to the courthouse tomorrow at 9 a.m. to receive the ruling. Tomorrow? It's only been 3 weeks. The judge moved up the timeline. Can you be here? Yes. Yes, I'll be there. Bring your attorney of record. The line went dead. Celeste looked at Marcus. The decision is tomorrow. What? The judge moved it up. We have to be there at 9. Call your new lawyer. Tell him. Celeste called David. He answered on the second ring. The decision is tomorrow morning. David swore. I haven't even reviewed the files yet. What do I do? Show up. Bring me. Hope for the best. That's your legal advice. That's all I have right now. I'll go through everything tonight. If Victoria sabotaged something obvious, I'll file an emergency motion. But Celeste, you need to prepare yourself. For what? For the possibility that you lose. That this judge rules against you and you have 30 days before deportation. And then what? Then we appeal. File for a stay. Fight like hell. Will it work? Sometimes. Not always. Celeste hung up. Looked at Marcus. At Simone. At Rachel. We need to go home, she said. I need to pack. Just in case. The apartment felt different when they walked in. Smaller. Colder. Like it already knew she was leaving. Simone went straight to her room. Marcus stood in the doorway. What can I do? Nothing. There's nothing anyone can do now. Celeste, I'm tired, Marcus. I'm so tired. Of fighting. Of worrying. Of wondering if every decision I make is the one that destroys everything. You didn't destroy anything. I did. We both did. I worked so much I forgot we were married. You cheated instead of telling me you were lonely. We both chose wrong. So what happens now? Now we wait. Tomorrow the judge tells me if I get to stay or if I get sent back to a country I left 20 years ago. And there is no Marcus. Not anymore. Maybe there never really was. Maybe we were just two people who needed each other and confused that with love. I do love you. You love the idea of me. The woman who doesn't complain. Who works herself to death. Who asks for nothing. But that's not a person. That's a fantasy. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. If it was, I wouldn't be fighting to stay in a country that's spent 20 years making it clear I don't belong. Marcus left. Took his garbage bags with him. Simone came out when she heard the door close. He's gone, yeah. Good. They packed together. Celeste wasn't sure what to bring. What do you pack when you might be deported? Photos, documents, clothes, all of it felt meaningless. Simone packed her baby pictures into a box. What are you doing? Celeste asked. If you have to go, I want you to have these. So you remember me. Baby, I could never forget you. But you won't see me. Not for years. Not until I'm 18 and can come visit. Don't think like that. Why not? It's true. If you get deported, we lose each other. I become one of those kids who doesn't have a mom. Who has to explain to everyone why my mother isn't at graduation. At my wedding. When I have kids. Celeste pulled her close. That's not going to happen. How do you know? Because I won't let it. You can't control this, Mom. None of us can. That was the truth Celeste didn't want to face. She'd spent her whole life trying to control things. Working harder. Being quieter. Making herself invisible enough to survive but visible enough to exist. And none of it mattered because a judge she'd never met got to decide her entire future with a signature. They didn't sleep that night. Celeste lay in bed staring at the ceiling. At 3 a.m. Simone crawled in next to her. I'm scared, Simone whispered. Me too, baby. What if the judge says no? Then we fight. We appeal. We don't give up. What if that doesn't work either? Celeste didn't have an answer. They got to the courthouse at 8:30. David was already there looking exhausted. He'd been up all night going through files. Did you find anything? Celeste asked. Maybe. Victoria missed a filing deadline 2 weeks ago. A supplemental brief that could have strengthened your case. Did she miss it on accident or on purpose? No way to know. But it's enough to argue incompetence. Not enough to stop today's ruling. Marcus showed up at 8:45. Celeste didn't ask why he came. Didn't have the energy to care. They sat outside the courtroom. Celeste between David and Simone. Marcus alone on the other side. At 9 exactly the clerk called them in. Judge Morrison sat behind his bench looking even more bored than last time. The ICE attorney was there. Everything felt predetermined. Mrs. Laurent, I've reviewed your case thoroughly. I've considered the evidence presented by your former counsel Victoria Hayes. Former counsel. The judge knew she'd fired Victoria. That couldn't be good. I've also noted that you've changed representation 3 weeks before this decision. That kind of last-minute change suggests instability. Possibly fraud. David stood. Your Honor, if I may, you may not. I'm issuing my ruling. The room went silent. Mrs. Laurent, your case presented several complications. Your initial visa overstay. Your use of fraudulent documents for employment. Your failure to depart when your visa expired. Celeste's hands were shaking. However, I've also considered your daughter, who is a U.S. citizen. Your work history. Your community ties. And the fact that you've been here for 18 years without criminal incident. He paused. Looked directly at her. I'm granting your application for adjustment of status. Deportation proceedings are dismissed. Celeste couldn't breathe. Couldn't process the words. What she whispered. You won, David said. You get to stay. Simone grabbed her hand. Marcus exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for 3 months. The judge continued. However, Mrs. Laurent, you are now under scrutiny. Any legal violation in the next 5 years and this decision can be reversed. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. You're dismissed. They walked out of the courtroom in a daze. In the hallway, Simone started crying. David was smiling. Marcus reached for Celeste's hand and she let him take it for just a moment before pulling away. You did it, he said. We did it. What happens now? Celeste looked at him. Really looked at him. Saw the man she'd married 14 years ago. Saw the stranger he'd become. Saw the damage that couldn't be undone. Now I file for divorce, she said. Marcus went pale. Celeste, I won my case. I get to stay. That was the goal. That's all we had left. We have more than that. We have Simone. We have nothing, Marcus. You made sure of that when you slept with Victoria. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. A mistake is being late. What you did was a choice. Multiple choices. Over 3 months. And I can't forgive that. David cleared his throat. I'll give you all some privacy. He walked away. Simone looked between her parents. I'm going to wait outside, she said. Celeste and Marcus stood alone in the courthouse hallway. I still love you, he said. That doesn't matter anymore. It matters to me. Then you should have thought of that before you betrayed me with the one person who had the power to destroy my entire life. I know I messed up. But we can fix this. Counseling. Therapy. Whatever you need. What I need is to be alone. To figure out who I am without you. Without this case hanging over me. Without any of it. What about Simone? Simone is 16. She's old enough to understand that sometimes parents separate. That sometimes love isn't enough. So that's it, 14 years and you're just done. No, Marcus. You were done 3 months ago. I'm just finally accepting it. She walked away. Left him standing there. Found Simone outside on the courthouse steps. You okay, Mom? I will be. You really going to divorce him? Yes. Good. They took the train home. Celeste felt lighter than she had in months. Not happy. Not whole. But lighter. Her phone rang. It was Victoria. Celeste almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. What do you want? I heard about your ruling. Congratulations. No thanks to you. Actually, Celeste, it is thanks to me. I built that case. I did the work. Your new lawyer just showed up at the end. You also missed filings. Did you know that David found them? You sabotaged my case. Silence on the other end. I don't know what you're talking about, Victoria finally said. Yes, you do. Just like you sabotaged Marie Toussaint. And how many others? You can't prove anything. Maybe not. But I'm filing a complaint anyway. With the Bar Association. About your affair with my husband during my case. About your pattern of targeting vulnerable clients. And I'm finding every other woman you did this to. We're all filing together. You'll lose. I have lawyers. Good ones. Probably. But at least people will know what you are. At least your husband will finally have proof. At least those 3 kids of yours will see who their mother really is." Victoria's breath hitched. "You leave my children out of this. Why you didn't leave mine out? You didn't care what happened to Simone if I got deported. You just cared about sleeping with my husband. I hope you're happy, Celeste. You won your case. You destroyed your marriage. You're alone now. Better alone than with someone who betrayed me." Celeste hung up, blocked the number, watched the city pass by through the train window. Simone leaned against her shoulder. "We're going to be okay, right, Mom? Yeah, baby. We're going to be okay." For the first time in months, Celeste actually believed it. The divorce papers arrived at Marcus's new apartment 3 days later. He called Celeste immediately. "You actually filed. I told you I would. I thought you'd change your mind. Thought we'd talk." "There's nothing to talk about. Celeste, please. Just give me a chance to fix this." "You can't fix this, Marcus. It's done." "What about Simone? What about her? She needs both her parents." "She has both her parents. We just won't be married anymore." "That's not the same." "No, it's better. Better than watching us pretend everything's fine when it's not." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "I'm not signing them. Then I'll file for a contested divorce. It'll take longer and cost more, but the result will be the same." "Why are you being so cold?" "I'm not cold. I'm done. There's a difference." She hung up before he could respond. Simone was doing homework at the kitchen table. She looked up. "He's not signing, not yet. He will eventually." "What if he doesn't? Then we wait. The law says we can divorce after separation. We just have to prove we've lived apart for a whole year, or he signs the papers. Whichever comes first." Simone went back to her homework. But Celeste could see the tension in her shoulders. The way her pencil pressed too hard against the paper. "You okay, baby?" "I'm fine." "You're not fine. Talk to me." Simone threw down her pencil. "Everyone at school knows. About Dad. About the lawyer. About everything. How Jennifer Morrison's mom works at the courthouse. She told everyone. Now people ask me questions. Is your dad still with that woman? Is your mom really getting deported? I'm so tired of it." Celeste sat down next to her. "I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It is a little. I should have been more private about everything. Mom, you were fighting for your life. You don't get to be private about that. Still, I hate that you're dealing with this. I hate that Dad did this. I hate that he ruined everything for some stupid affair. Don't hate him. He's still your father. He's a cheater. And a liar. And I don't want to see him. Simone, I don't, Mom. He keeps texting me, asking to meet for dinner. To talk. I don't want to talk to him. You should. Eventually. Not for him. For you. Why? Because holding on to anger only hurts you. Trust me. I know." Simone looked at her. "Are you angry at him?" "I was. I still am sometimes. But mostly I'm just sad. Sad that we wasted 14 years pretending to be something we weren't. Were we ever a real family?" That question broke Celeste's heart. "Yes, baby. We were real. We still are. Just different now." David called that evening. He'd finished reviewing all of Victoria's files. "How bad is it?" Celeste asked. "Bad. She missed 3 filing deadlines. Submitted incomplete documentation twice. And there's evidence she never requested key witness statements that could have strengthened your case. So she did sabotage it. Looks like it. The question is whether she did it intentionally or just through negligence. Does it matter for the bar complaint? Yes. Intentional sabotage is disbarment. Negligence is suspension and probation. I want disbarment. Then we need to prove intent. Which means finding other victims and showing a pattern. I already found one. Marie Toussaint. We need more. At least 3 or 4 to establish a clear pattern. How'd I find them? I'll pull Victoria's case history. See which one's lost. Then we track them down and ask questions. That could take months. It will take months. But if you want Victoria gone for good, it's what we have to do. Then let's do it." David sent her a list 2 days later. 17 names. All women. All immigrants. All lost their cases within a year of hiring Victoria. Celeste started calling them one by one. The first 3 didn't answer. The 4th hung up as soon as Celeste mentioned Victoria's name. The 5th started crying. "She ruined my life," the woman said. Her name was Aminata. From Senegal. I paid her $12,000. She slept with my husband. When I found out, she stopped returning my calls. I got deported 6 months later. Where's your husband now? Still with her, last I heard. They're engaged. Celeste felt sick. Victoria's married. Was married. Her husband divorced her last year. Too many affairs. How many I don't know. But I'm not the only client she did this to. There's a woman named Sandra. From Colombia. Victoria did the same thing to her. Do you have her number? Aminata gave it to her. Celeste called Sandra that night. Sandra answered in Spanish. Celeste explained in broken Spanish what she wanted. Sandra switched to English. You want to know about Victoria Hayes? She's a monster. Tell me everything. Sandra's story was identical. Hired Victoria for an immigration case. Victoria started spending time with Sandra's husband. They had an affair. Sandra confronted Victoria. The case fell apart. Sandra got deported. Where's your husband now? Dead. Killed himself 2 years ago. Couldn't live with the guilt. Celeste's chest tightened. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Get her. Make sure she can't do this to anyone else. I'm trying. Try harder. Women like Victoria think they're untouchable. Prove them wrong. Celeste hung up and sat in the dark. 4 women now. Marie. Aminata. Sandra. Herself. 4 women whose lives Victoria had destroyed. How many more were there? Marcus showed up at the apartment unannounced the next day. Celeste opened the door and blocked the entrance. You need to call before coming here. I signed the papers. Celeste blinked. What, the divorce papers? I signed them. My lawyer's filing them tomorrow. Why? Because you're right. We're done. And dragging it out won't change anything. Celeste didn't know what to say. She'd expected him to fight longer. Can I come in? Marcus asked. I want to talk to Simone. She's not here. She's at Rachel's. When will she be back? I don't know. She's avoiding you. I know. She won't answer my calls. Can you blame her? Number? But I'm still her father. I still want to see her. Then you need to give her time. Let her come to you when she's ready. What if she's never ready? Then you live with that. That's the consequence of your choices. Marcus looked defeated. Older somehow. Like the last 3 months had aged him years. I never meant to hurt her, he said. But you did. You hurt both of us. And saying you didn't mean to doesn't undo it. I know. I just want you to know that I regret it. Everything. I'd take it all back if I could. But you can't. So we move forward. To what I don't know yet. But not backwards. Never backwards. He left. Celeste closed the door and leaned against it. She'd thought she'd feel something when he signed the papers. Relief. Sadness. Something. Instead she felt nothing. Just empty. The bar complaint was filed 2 weeks later. David submitted everything. The missed deadlines. The incomplete filings. Statements from Marie, Aminata and Sandra. Evidence of the affair with Marcus. Victoria's response came fast. A threatening letter from her lawyer. Mrs. Laurent is making false and defamatory accusations against my client. If she does not withdraw her complaint immediately, we will file a lawsuit for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Celeste showed it to David. What do we do? Nothing. This is a scare tactic. They're hoping you'll back down. Will they actually sue? Probably not. Discovery would expose everything Victoria's done. She doesn't want that. But if they do sue, then we fight. And we win. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. This could cost me everything. It could. But doing nothing guarantees. Victoria keeps destroying lives. Celeste thought about Marie. About Aminata. About Sandra's dead husband. About all the women Victoria would hurt if someone didn't stop her. Tell them I'm not withdrawing anything. David smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. Victoria called her directly that night. Celeste almost didn't answer. But she wanted to hear what Victoria would say. You're making a mistake, Victoria said. I'm fixing one. You're bitter because your marriage failed. That's not my fault. You're right. My marriage failed because Marcus and I weren't compatible. But you sleeping with him while representing me, that's absolutely your fault. I was trying to help you. I won your case. You won despite sabotaging it. David found all the deadlines you missed. All the incomplete filings. Those were oversights. They were intentional. Just like with Marie. And Aminata. And Sandra. And how many others? Victoria went silent. I found them, Celeste continued. I found your victims. And we're all talking. Comparing notes. Building a case against you. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Yes, I do. I'm dealing with a predator who targets vulnerable women and destroys their lives for entertainment. But you picked the wrong person this time. Is that a threat? It's a promise. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you are. Every potential client. Every judge. Everyone. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is ever trusting you. Celeste hung up. Her hands were shaking. But she felt powerful for the first time in months. 2 days later, someone slashed her tires. All 4 of them. In the middle of the night while she slept. The police came. Took a report. Asked if she had any enemies. Yes, Celeste said. Victoria Hayes. My former lawyer. Can you prove she did this number? But she threatened me 3 days ago. The officer wrote it down. We'll look into it. But without evidence there's nothing we can do. After they left, Celeste stood looking at her car. At the slashed tires. At the message Victoria was sending. Back down or it gets worse. Simone came outside. Mom, it's okay, baby. Just some vandalism. It was her, wasn't it, Victoria? Probably. Are you going to stop the complaint? Celeste looked at her daughter. Saw fear in her eyes. Fear that they'd lose everything again. No, Celeste said. I'm not stopping. This is exactly why I have to keep going. What if she does something worse? Then we deal with it. But we don't let bullies win. Marcus paid for new tires. Showed up with them the next morning. I heard what happened, he said. News travels fast. Let me help. You are helping. Thank you for the tires. I mean with Victoria. Let me testify. Against her. For your complaint. Celeste studied him. Why? Because what she did was wrong. To you. To us. I was part of it, but she manipulated the situation. She knew exactly what she was doing. You still made the choice. I know. And I'll live with that. But she's done this to too many people. Someone has to stop her. David can call you as a witness. Tell him I'll do it. Whatever you need. After he left, Celeste called David. Marcus wants to testify against Victoria. That's huge. His testimony about the affair during your case could be the evidence we need for intent. Will it be enough combined with the other women? Yes. I think so. The bar hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks out. Celeste spent those weeks working. She'd gotten her job back at the nursing home after explaining the situation to her supervisor. The money was tight but manageable. Simone started seeing a therapist. Working through the divorce. The deportation scare. Everything. She asked me if I was angry at you, Simone said one night. What did you say that I used to be? When you were working all the time. But now I get it. You were trying to save us. I'm sorry I wasn't there more. It's okay. You're here now. They were building something new. Just the 2 of them. Mother and daughter. Figuring out how to be a family without Marcus. Rachel came over for dinner one night. Brought wine. The 3 of them sat around the table talking. You look better, Rachel said. I feel better. Really, really. For the first time in years I feel like myself. Not someone's wife. Not someone's employee. Just me. What are you going to do after all this? I'm taking classes. Community college. Business administration. Why business? Because I'm tired of working for people who treat me like I'm disposable. I want to start something. Help other immigrant women navigate the system. That's ambitious. That's necessary. There are too many women like me. Like Marie. Like Aminata. Someone needs to help them. You've been through hell, Celeste. You sure you want to relive it? Helping others? I don't want to relive it. I want to make sure other women don't have to live it at all. Rachel raised her glass. To new beginnings. They drank. Simone had sparkling cider. The 3 of them laughed. For the first time in months, Celeste felt something close to happy. Victoria's husband called her a week before the hearing. His name was Robert. Mrs. Laurent, I need to talk to you about Victoria. I'm listening. She's planning something. I don't know what. But she's been on the phone constantly. Meeting with her lawyers. She's scared. Good. No, you don't understand. When Victoria's scared, she gets dangerous. She's already slashed your tires. What's next? I don't know. But I'm not backing down. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to be careful. And I'm offering to testify. About what? About the affairs? All of them. I kept records. Emails. Text messages. Evidence of at least 6 different affairs with clients' husbands. I was waiting for the right time to use them. For leverage in our divorce. But this is more important. Why are you helping me? Because I'm tired of cleaning up her messes. And because if someone doesn't stop her, she'll keep doing this until someone gets seriously hurt. Someone already did. Sandra's husband killed himself. Robert went quiet. I didn't know that. Victoria destroys people. You know that better than anyone. I do. Which is why I want her stopped. For good. David will contact you about testifying. I'll be there. The night before the hearing, Celeste couldn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, running through everything in her mind. Everything that led to this moment. Simone knocked on her door at midnight. Can't sleep either, Celeste asked. No. I keep thinking about tomorrow. Come here. Simone climbed into bed next to her. Like when she was little. What if they don't believe you? Simone asked. Then we tried. That's all we can do. What if Victoria wins? She already lost. She just doesn't know it yet. How can you be so sure? Because I survived her. That's the victory. Everything else is just paperwork. They fell asleep like that. Mother and daughter. Survivors. The hearing room was smaller than Celeste expected. 10 rows of chairs. A long table for the Board of Bar Overseers panel. 3 lawyers in suits who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. David sat next to Celeste. Behind them, Marcus, Robert, Marie, who'd flown in from Haiti, Aminata on video call from Senegal, and Simone, who'd skipped school to be there. Victoria arrived 15 minutes late with 2 lawyers. She didn't look at Celeste. Didn't look at anyone. Just sat down and whispered to her attorneys. The panel chair spoke first. A woman in her 60s named Judge Ellen Pritchard. We're here regarding complaint number 2024-847. Celeste Laurent versus Victoria Hayes. Mrs. Laurent alleges professional misconduct, conflict of interest, and intentional sabotage of client cases. Ms. Hayes, how do you plead? Victoria stood. Not guilty to all charges, Your Honor. Sit down. This isn't a criminal trial. Judge Pritchard looked at David. Mr. Chen, you may present your case. David stood. Thank you, Your Honor. We will demonstrate through testimony and documentary evidence that Victoria Hayes has engaged in a pattern of predatory behavior targeting vulnerable immigrant women. She uses their immigration cases as access to their husbands, engages in affairs, and when discovered, sabotages their legal representation. Victoria's lawyer jumped up. Objection. That's inflammatory and unsupported. Save your objections. This is a bar hearing, not a courtroom. I'll decide what's relevant. Judge Pritchard nodded at David. Continue. We have 4 documented cases. Marie Toussaint deported in 2022. Aminata Diallo deported in 2023. Sandra Mendoza deported in 2023. Her husband subsequently committed suicide. And Celeste Laurent, who won her case despite Ms. Hayes' efforts to undermine it. That's a serious accusation, Judge Pritchard said. We have serious evidence. David called Marie first. She walked to the witness table, hands shaking. State your name for the record. Marie Toussaint. Tell us about your experience with Victoria Hayes. Marie took a breath. Started talking. How she'd hired Victoria in 2022. How Victoria had come to her home for meetings. How she'd noticed Victoria touching her husband. Laughing too much. Staying late. When did you discover the affair? 3 months into my case. I came home early from work. Found them together. In my bed. Someone in the room gasped. Victoria stared straight ahead. What happened after you confronted Ms. Hayes? She said it was none of my business. That it wouldn't affect my case. But it did. She stopped returning my calls. Missed court dates. Filed incomplete paperwork. 6 months later, I was on a plane back to Haiti. Where is your husband now? Still here. Still with her. Or he was. I don't know anymore. I haven't spoken to him in 2 years. Victoria's lawyer stood. Your Honor, this witness is clearly biased. She's bitter about a failed marriage and is blaming my client for her own poor case. Marie's voice cut through. My case was strong until she stopped fighting for it. Ask her. Ask her why she missed the deadline for my asylum application extension. Ask her why she never submitted the police report documenting the abuse I fled from in Haiti. Ms. Hayes. Judge Pritchard looked directly at Victoria. Victoria stood. I don't recall the specifics of every case from 2 years ago. You don't recall missing an asylum extension deadline. Cases are complex. Sometimes things fall through the cracks. Convenient. Judge Pritchard made a note. Next witness. Aminata testified via video. Her story was identical. Hired Victoria. Victoria seduced her husband. Aminata confronted her. Case fell apart. Deportation. Where's your husband now? David asked. I don't know. We divorced after I was deported. He married Victoria's paralegal. They had twins last year. Celeste hadn't known that part. Looked at Victoria. Saw her jaw clench. Then Marcus testified. Walked to the table. Looked at Celeste once. She didn't look away. State your relationship to the respondent. I had an affair with Victoria Hayes while she was representing my wife in an immigration case. Who initiated the affair? She did. Started with coffee after meetings. Then drinks. Then more. Did you know the affair could impact your wife's case? I didn't think about it. I should have. But I didn't. Did Ms. Hayes ever discuss your wife's case during your relationship? Marcus hesitated. Yes. What did she say? She said Celeste was difficult. That she didn't appreciate the work Victoria was doing. That the case was harder than it needed to be because Celeste was uncooperative. Was your wife uncooperative? Number. She was working 70 hours a week to pay for the case. She did everything Victoria asked. So why would Ms. Hayes say otherwise? I think she was trying to justify what we were doing. Make it seem like Celeste deserved it somehow. Victoria's lawyer stood. Objection. Speculation. Overruled. Continue. Mr. Laurent. After Celeste found out I tried to end it. Victoria said if I left her she'd make sure Celeste lost the case. The room went silent. She threatened to sabotage your wife's case if you ended the affair. Yes. Did you tell anyone this? Number. I was scared. Scared Celeste would get deported. Scared Simone would lose her mother. So you stayed in the relationship to protect your wife's case for a while. Until Celeste fired her anyway. Thank you, Mr. Laurent. Victoria's lawyer cross-examined. Tried to make Marcus look like a willing participant. Like someone shifting blame. But Marcus held firm. I made a choice. A terrible choice. But Victoria knew exactly what she was doing. She's done this before. She'll do it again. Robert testified next. Victoria's soon-to-be ex-husband. He brought a folder 6 inches thick. What's in the folder? David asked. Evidence of my wife's affairs over the past 8 years. Emails. Text messages. Photos. Bank statements showing gifts she bought for these men. How many affairs are documented here? 11. That I know of. 6 were clients' husbands. The others were judges, opposing counsel, courthouse staff. Judges 2. Judge Marcus Sullivan and Judge David Brennan. Both currently sitting immigration judges. The room erupted. Judge Pritchard banged her gavel. Order. Mr. Hayes, are you saying Ms. Hayes had relationships with judges who heard her cases? Yes, Your Honor. I have emails where she discusses strategy with them. Cases they ruled on in her favor. Victoria stood up. Her face was white. That's a lie. Robert is fabricating evidence for our divorce. These are printed directly from her laptop. The one she left at home when she moved out. You hacked my computer. It's community property. Everything on it is admissible in our divorce. And now in this hearing. Judge Pritchard took the folder. Started flipping through it. Her expression darkened with each page. We're taking a recess. 30 minutes. Ms. Hayes, you and your counsel need to decide if you want to continue this hearing or if there's another resolution you'd prefer. They filed out. Celeste stood in the hallway with David. What just happened? Robert just gave us enough evidence to not only disbar Victoria but potentially refer her for criminal prosecution. Bribing judges is a felony. Will they disbar her after what they just saw? Absolutely. Victoria's lawyer approached. My client would like to speak with Mrs. Laurent. Privately. No, David said. Yes, Celeste said. I want to hear what she has to say. They went into an empty conference room. Just the two of them. Victoria looked smaller somehow. Broken. I want to apologize. I don't want your apology. I know. But I need to say it. What I did to you, to Marie, to all of them. It was wrong. Why did you do it? Victoria sat down. Power. Control. I spent my whole career in a profession that treats women like second-class citizens. Male judges. Male opposing counsel. Male clients who don't take me seriously. The affairs were the only place I had power. The only place where I was the one in control. So you destroyed other women to feel powerful, yes? That's exactly what I did. And I can't take it back. Marie lost her daughter. Sandra's husband is dead. Aminata's children don't remember her. And you did it all to feel powerful, I know. That's not enough. I know, doesn't bring Sandra's husband back. Doesn't reunite Marie with her daughter. Doesn't undo any of it. What do you want from me? I want you to never practice law again. I want you to face consequences. Real ones. Not just losing your license. Criminal charges. Prison. They won't prosecute. They never do. Maybe not. But at least everyone will know what you are. Victoria stood. I'm going to withdraw from the hearing. Accept voluntary disbarment. It's better than what they'll do to me if this continues. That's not enough. It's all I can offer. Then offer more. Testify against those judges. The ones you bribed. Help clean up the system you corrupted. Why would I do that? Because maybe, just maybe, it'll help you sleep at night. Knowing you did one decent thing in your miserable career. Victoria was quiet for a long time. Then okay. I'll cooperate. I'll testify against them. Give the bar everything. Why? Because you're right. This is the only way I can make any of this mean something. They went back into the hearing room. Victoria stood. Your Honor, I'm withdrawing my defense. I accept voluntary disbarment effective immediately. And I'm prepared to cooperate fully with any investigation into judicial misconduct. Judge Pritchard looked shocked. You're certain? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. Victoria Hayes, you are hereby disbarred from practicing law in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This board will forward the evidence presented today to the Attorney General's office for review of potential criminal charges. Victoria nodded, gathered her things, walked out. Celeste watched her go, felt nothing. No victory, no satisfaction, just emptiness. Outside, Simone hugged her. You did it, Mom. We did it. Marcus approached. Can we talk? Not now. When? I don't know. Maybe never. We're divorced, Marcus. We don't have to talk anymore. I'm still Simone's father. Then talk to her. Not me. She walked away with Simone. Left Marcus standing there. David caught up with them on the steps. You okay? I will be. What you did in there took courage. It took survival. There's a difference. Still, you should be proud. I'm tired. That's what I am. She went home. Slept for 14 hours straight. When she woke up, there were 17 missed calls. News outlets. Other lawyers. Women who'd heard about the hearing and wanted to tell their stories about Victoria. Celeste ignored them all. A week later, the Attorney General announced they were investigating Victoria for judicial bribery. Both judges Victoria had relationships with were suspended pending investigation. 2 weeks later, 5 more women came forward. All former Victoria clients. All with the same story. 1 month later, Celeste enrolled in community college. Business administration. First class was on Tuesday nights. She sat in the back and took notes like her life depended on it. Simone started doing better. Grades improved. Smiled more. Started talking to Marcus again. Not often, but enough. He wants to have dinner, Simone said one night. The 3 of us. I don't think that's a good idea. Please, Mom. Just once. He's trying. Celeste looked at her daughter. Saw hope in her eyes. Okay. Once. They met at a diner. Neutral territory. Sat in a booth. Ordered burgers. How's school? Marcus asked Simone. Good. I made honor roll. That's great, baby. Don't call me baby. I'm not 5. Sorry. Force of habit. They ate in awkward silence. Finally, Marcus spoke. I'm in therapy. Dealing with everything. Learning to be better. Good for you, Celeste said. I want to be in Simone's life. Properly. Not just texts and occasional dinners. That's between you and her. I also want to help. With your new project. The advocacy thing for immigrant women. Celeste looked up. How do you know about that? Rachel told me. Said you're starting a nonprofit. Helping women navigate immigration cases. Finding them good lawyers. That's the plan. Let me help. Financially. I have money saved. And I owe you. For everything. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. I destroyed our marriage. Almost got you deported. Hurt Simone. Let me try to make it right. Money won't make it right. I know. But maybe it'll help someone else. Someone like Marie. Or Aminata. Celeste thought about it. About pride versus pragmatism. About whether accepting his help meant forgiving him. It didn't. She could take his money and still not forgive him. Those were separate things. Okay. I'll take the help. But this doesn't change anything between us. I know. 6 months later, Celeste's nonprofit launched. Justice for Her. They'd already helped 8 women find ethical immigration lawyers. Prevented 2 from hiring Victoria like predators. Connected 3 deported mothers with their children through legal channels. The local news did a story. Celeste was interviewed. Told her story. Briefly. Focused more on the women they were helping. Victoria was referenced as a former immigration attorney now under investigation for corruption. No name. Just the facts. That night Victoria called. Celeste almost didn't answer. What do you want? I saw the news segment. About your organization. And it's good. What you're doing. It's actually good. Don't sound so surprised. I'm not. I just wanted you to know that I'm testifying next week. Against the judges. I'm telling them everything. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked me to. You said maybe it would help me sleep at night. You were wrong. It doesn't. But it's still the right thing to do. Good luck with that. Celeste, what do you think you'll ever forgive me? Celeste was quiet for a moment. No. But I don't think about you anymore. And that's better than forgiveness. She hung up. Deleted Victoria's number. Moved on. A year after the hearing, Celeste stood in her new office. Small space above a coffee shop. 2 desks. One for her. One for her first employee, a paralegal named Jennifer who'd immigrated from the Philippines and understood the struggle. Simone came by after school. Brought coffee. How's it going, Mom? Good. We took on 3 new cases this week. That's amazing. It is. Scary but amazing. You're really doing it. Helping people. Trying to. 1 case at a time. Marcus came by sometimes. Dropped off donations. Kept his distance. They'd found a rhythm. Not friends. Not enemies. Just 2 people who shared a daughter and a history. Rachel visited often. Brought dinner. Helped with paperwork. Reminded Celeste to eat and sleep and take care of herself. You're doing too much, Rachel said one night. I'm doing what needs to be done. You can't save everyone. No. But I can save someone. And that's enough. 2 years after the deportation notice that almost destroyed her life, Celeste Laurent became a U.S. citizen. Official ceremony. Oath. Flag. The whole thing. Simone was there. Rachel too. Even Marcus sitting in the back. When Celeste raised her right hand and swore allegiance to a country that had tried to throw her out, she thought about everything it took to get here. The fear. The betrayal. The fight. She thought about Marie still in Haiti, separated from her daughter. About Aminata in Senegal, starting over alone. About Sandra's husband who'd given up. About all the women who didn't make it. Who couldn't fight. Who didn't survive. Celeste survived. Not because she was stronger or smarter or more deserving. She survived because she refused to stay silent. Because she fought back when fighting back seemed impossible. After the ceremony, a young woman approached her. Haitian accent. Eyes full of fear. Are you Celeste Laurent from Justice for Her? Yes. I got a deportation notice last week. I have a daughter. She's 5. I can't leave her. Celeste looked at this woman. Saw herself 3 years ago. Terrified. Desperate. Alone. Come to my office tomorrow. We'll figure this out. I don't have money for a lawyer. Neither did I. We'll figure it out. The woman started crying. Thank you. Thank you so much. Celeste hugged her. You're going to be okay. I promise. And for the first time in her life, Celeste believed in promises again. Because she'd made it through the darkness and found her way back to the light. Not unscathed. Not unchanged. But alive. Fighting. Refusing to let anyone ever make her feel powerless again. She'd lost her husband, her savings, her peace of mind. But she'd found something more valuable, herself. The woman who'd been buried under years of fear and survival and making herself small enough to be tolerated. That woman was gone. In her place stood someone stronger. Someone who'd survived betrayal and bureaucracy and a system designed to break her. Someone who'd turned her pain into purpose. Victoria Hayes was facing 5 years in federal prison for corruption. The 2 judges she'd bribed were disbarred and under investigation. Marie's case was being reviewed for reopening. Aminata had connected with an American lawyer willing to help her fight to return. Justice was slow, but it was happening. Simone graduated high school that spring. Gave a speech at graduation about resilience. About watching her mother fight impossible odds and win. About learning that survival isn't passive. It's a choice you make every single day. Celeste sat in the audience and cried. Not from sadness. From pride. From relief. From the knowledge that her daughter would never have to make herself small to survive. That night, just the 2 of them, Simone asked the question Celeste had been waiting for. Mom, do you regret it coming to America? Everything you went through? Celeste thought about it. Really thought. No, she finally said. I don't regret it. Because it brought me you. And it taught me that I'm stronger than anything that tries to break me. Even Victoria, especially Victoria. She tried to destroy me and instead she woke me up. Made me realize I'd been surviving instead of living. And I'm done just surviving. What are you doing now? Living. Fighting. Helping. Refusing to be silent ever again. Simone smiled. Good. Because the world needs more women like you. Celeste pulled her daughter close. Looked out at the city that had tried to reject her. The city that was now home. The city where she'd built a new life from the ashes of the old one. She'd come to America with nothing. Lost everything. And built it all back on her own terms. Not as someone's wife. Not as someone's victim. But as herself. Fully. Completely. Unapologetically. And that was worth every moment of pain it took to get here.